Well, welcome to this very special Meet the Miniaturist. Thank you for joining. It has been a minute. It is now 2025, and I'm very excited to bring on my special guest, Morgen Bearse, who is an awesome miniaturist in small scale. She hails from Cape Cod in Massachusetts, and I am delighted to have her on to talk about her background and how she evolved into the miniaturist that she is today. And we're going to talk all about that. And she's also going to give us a tutorial and with her tips and tricks on how to really make miniatures, make floral miniatures. So with that, I would like to introduce our special guest, Morgen. Hi, Morgen. Welcome to this special Meet the Miniaturist. Why don't we start and tell us a little bit about yourself and your background? Because I know you spent a fair amount of time working in full-scale floral decorations, a floral decor, and then we're going to talk about how it evolved into making miniatures today. So thank you again for joining. Tell us a little bit about your background, Morgen. Thank you again for joining.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I
So tell us where it all began, because I know that you have, during your upbringing, you spent a fair amount of time in several parts of the world. And so lots of influences, lots of different inspirations coming into play. How did that all come together for you to become working in the floral industry, in events and weddings and things like that?
Well, like you had said, I grew up around the world. My dad was with the State Department. When I was younger, I lived in Africa for a few years of my life, Monrovia, Liberia. I lived in Germany. After that, Frankfurt. Then we moved to Virginia. When we lived in Virginia, I was in high school. I went to college there. When I was in college, my mom had a antique store that I used to hang out in. And when I was at her antique store one day, a woman had come in and was talking about what she did. She worked in a historic hotel in D.C. And she was describing these events that she did. She didn't explain this. She didn't describe herself as a florist. She was a floral event designer. And she described it, these tablescapes that she would do using, fresh fruits and quail eggs and flowers and fabric and feathers and, just things that, creating textures and stories. It was more than just, flowers in a vase.
Right.
And when she left, I remember saying to my mom, I was like, I want to do that. I had just gotten out of college and I'd gotten a degree in biology.
I was going to ask, did you have an art background? No, it's biology.
No, I had a biology degree.
So there's like these two different parts of the brains working. I'm getting it. I meet a lot of miniaturists who have both of those pieces running. So it's fascinating to me. So, okay, so there's where the sort of like the bug of interior design and design started for you. So you started making flowers.
Yep. I went down and they took a chance on me. I had never done flowers before. Thankfully, I'm a quick study. They just would show me what to do and I would do it. I'm really, I absorb information really quickly. They just would show me what to do. I would do it. And so like the things I would do, the places I would go, it was really pretty, it was pretty incredible. I like looking back on it, it was a completely different world of what I was thinking back on it.
And there's been a fair amount of publications that have captured, your great work. You've been in wedding magazines, event magazines. So it must be really nice to be acknowledged for your work and have that captured.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. Is it, how does that feel?
It's really special. Like I am not a person that accepts compliments easily. And to have people dote on my work or compliment me,
it's kind of nice.
It's nice. There's a little bit of me that's like, are you sure? But it's really special. Like I still have like all the magazines just to make sure that I'm not dreaming, it's
Yeah, of course. But I understand miniatures have been a part of your world
Yep.
since you're young. So talk a little bit about your inspiration for miniatures and sort of how did that evolve to maybe where you became
Mhm.
where you become.
Yeah. I have loved miniatures my whole life. Miniatures, hidden worlds, a
Yeah.
kid of the 80s. I collected, I had one of those printer trays on my wall when I was a kid. I collected like the little gumball machine, like little gumball machines, like at museums you could get. I have like a little like brontosaurus that I got at a museum, like the little like glass cats that you could get that were like attached to the paper.
Yes.
Like I had all sorts of like different miniatures that I had that I could collect.
Yeah.
I would make different dioramas using like pieces of nature, little acorn caps, and um
So, yeah, so how did that evolve into, there came a time that you were very involved in the miniatures.com creating contest. Talk a little bit about that sort of connection.
yeah,
Yeah.
when I after the floral world was over and I was a full-time mom, I 3 kids. It's hard to be a florist.
Yeah.
I had told my husband one year that I had always wanted a dollhouse, that miniatures were really important to me and I really loved them, and that I'd always wanted a dollhouse, that the printer's tray wasn't really enough. And that year for Mother's Day, he bought me a dollhouse. I mean, we're not really a dollhouse, but it was the like Airstream style,
Yeah.
trailer.
Right. Right.
Um, that when I was doing research on like figuring out what I wanted to do with it and how to style it, I came across that miniatures.com had done used that kit at one point for their creating contest. And I got really excited that, that they do contests for miniatures. And I was like, well, I can do that. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
And so that year, my mom had gotten me that year's kit for my birthday, which was in June that year. Well, my birthday's in June every year. But and so that year I did a flower shop in the kit. So my very first creating contest was a flower shop. I titled it Butterfly Flowers, because
And all of this, you mentioned getting into floral design, not having a lot of training and study, if you will, and kind of the same thing with miniatures. It's all you're self-taught. Is that how it kind of worked?
yeah. I absorb knowledge.
Yeah.
I watch tutorials. I see how people do things online. I watch YouTube a lot, and I just see how people are doing things. And I, even if it's not even miniature, I will watch how people make like the large scale oversized flowers, and I'll try to like recreate that in small.
Yeah.
I'll use people's faux painting techniques that they use for like wall like trompe l'oeil type, and I'll try to redo it in miniature to like get those same looks.
It kind of takes me back to what you were saying about being inspired by the antique store and the tablescapes and just all of these things hitting you, all of this stimuli, this art stimuli, this tactile, and it seemed like all of this stuff came into play.
Collecting it all, it's all in there, and it just all like it all comes back out in little bits and pieces.
And having that influence and then taking that to making it your own, having your own floral business, and then transferring it over to miniatures and being able to make miniatures. So but you've also had a lot of success with the creating contest. Is that right? You've won many accolades. You've won at least one. Talk about the prizes you've won. You know what? How many you've won? Not how many, but talk about the recognition there.
The first one I entered was I won a first time entrance award. The next one I entered, I won third place. The one after that, which is this one here, won first place, and then the one after that was third place.
Oh wow!
So,
That's awesome. Which one won first place? Is it the little corner?
This one up here, the French, it's a French artist studio.
That is so beautiful. Well, congratulations on your successes. I mean, that takes just a lot, not only having the skills, but just the determination and I mean, it's not easy to sit down and get a project going and keep it going and then to enter. It's a lot. So congratulations on your work. But I mean, there's a transition here to fine art miniatures and your floral work, which only came about. I mean, you've been doing flowers for a while because you did them for the Creating contest, but I mean, you're actually now doing it at a whole new level. You're at a fine art level. You've been given you've been awarded the IGMA artisan status, correct?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Oh, you should be. Wait, talk about that. I thought you were already an IGMA artisan. I swear.
That's a goal. That's on my.
Okay. But you, I mean, I consider you a fine art miniature. Your work is fabulous.
Thank you.
So let's talk about that transition, because that only has been the last few years that you've been working on floral miniatures. You've been taking on commissions. I'm gonna bring my sunflowers. It's like my treasure. It's my treasure is that I have I have a bowl of your sunflowers. But talk about the transition. Like, okay, you're doing these projects, you're entering the miniatures.com. What's your thought process? Let me bring this to market. Like, what was your thinking behind it? Yeah.
I've been doing the contests, and every time I do the contest, my husband's like, no, you got to sell it. And I'm like, no, nobody wants to buy it. And he's like, no, people want to buy it. I'm like, nobody wants to buy it. And my husband's been my biggest
fan. Yeah.
He's like the mama bird pushing me out, and
good.
He's the reason that I ended up at any of the shows that I've been at. So
really?
Yeah.
Was he just being supportive, or does he know that you do great work? Like,
he knows that I do great work. That's great. Yeah, he definitely wouldn't have pushed me out if he didn't believe that.
Yeah, but you didn't believe. All right, so he pushed you to, to what? To find a larger audience? What did that look like?
Yeah, to find a larger audience. Because he didn't want me to. He wanted me to share it. He wanted people to. It's like, why keep it to yourself? Like, people need to see it. People want to have it. Like,
So at what point did you know, all right, I got something here? I mean, the winnings at miniatures.com is definitely an indicator.
Yeah. I think that I finally signed up for the IGMA show in September. And it was just pretty much let's see what happens, whatever happens.
The first show was the Guild show, and that was when, last year?
Yeah, last year. Was it September?
Wow, that's just amazing. So that was your first show. You're like, let me have a go at it. Let me. Yep. I mean, were you? I mean, did you have all this inventory? No, you had to make.
No, I was in denial most of last year on whether I had signed up.
Yeah.
And I was like in ultimate denial. And most of my inventory got made between like July and September.
Okay, that's a fair amount of time. You were prepared.
Yeah, I did. Oh no, sorry.
No worries.
Sorry.
No worries. I mean, you never have enough time. I mean, there's never enough time, but that's a pretty nice amount of time. You're prepared.
Yeah. I was happy with the amount of stuff that I had done.
Yeah.
Um,
For a first show, people usually don't make enough. Do you feel like you had enough?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I felt like I had enough. And I think I sold about half of what I brought. So
Okay, that's pretty good.
yeah,
For a newcomer, people don't know, you know. So wow, good for you.
and I was not prepared for the reception I had gotten. I am so
Oh,
sorry.
really?
I
No, that was me. Sorry.
sorry.
So let's talk about that. I mean, for folks who artists who might be thinking about showing, or
Mhm,
even just the behind the scenes to the collectors who are milling about.
mhm.
What does that feel like? So you get to the show, you have anticipation, and so talk a little bit about that.
I was um I was secretly terrified of what to expect.
Yeah,
The
that's major.
um the people were some of the nicest, kindest,
Yeah,
friendliest people that I have ever met in my entire life. Like I could have sold nothing and it would have been the best experience of my life. Like
yeah,
it was so amazing. Like the people that I met alone were worth um there were just the kindness, the people that like took me under their wing and were like, all right, I'm going to show you the ropes, this is how you're going to do it, this is what you need to do next.
yeah.
It
And
was just beyond amazing.
yeah, I mean, the miniatures world is definitely very supportive and very nurturing for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
And it's great that you had that really good experience. That's very important. Um,
Yeah.
especially this was all new to you. The show circuit, the
Yep.
making the miniatures collectors world and market and all of that.
Yes.
So wow, so that's great that you had this really good experience. So why don't we show a little bit of your work in progress and maybe talk a little bit about, and this is for folks who might be thinking about making miniatures on their own or taking a
Okay.
class in miniatures. Let's I'm going to show the first one, which is talk a little bit about your process and what the process is for starting a miniatures project and what we're seeing here.
Alrighty. In this, I am working on little tiny leaves. I'm working on a larger tree, and I I don't use a lot of very fancy tools. Like the scissors I'm using are my absolute favorite scissors. I got them out of a travel sewing kit.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
I've seen those.
yeah, they're tiny, they're pointy, they're sharp. I
Yeah,
absolutely love them. The like the punch you saw was just like a simple punch that I got off of Amazon. It's inexpensive.
so
Um,
it starts literally with a hole punch that is designed in the shape of a certain leaf, if you will, right?
yep, exactly. Um, right now I'm cutting down the stem on the leaf to make it a little bit thinner so that it's more um, closer to nature,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
The paper I originally had started with, I watercolored it first to give it
Ah,
a base color.
mhm,
I used Japanese crepe paper,
mhm.
and it takes the watercolor really nicely. And then I use different color pencils to give it um, different colors because obviously, you know, fall leaves have, variations in color.
Yeah. I mean, is there a reason why you might use pencils versus, let's say, acrylics, or is that just a choice? Do you like the finish? Like,
I
I,
like the
yeah,
lightness of the color pencils versus like an acrylic. I feel like an acrylic would be heavy on
yeah.
the paper. I'm trying to go for as light of a finish as possible.
Hmm.
That's why I use the watercolor because it whatever will leave the paper as thin as possible,
Uh-huh.
adding any weight to it or any thickness to it.
Right, Right.
Um,
All right. So if so that's a great tip right there. Is
mhm.
you want to keep the leaves as thin as possible,
Yep.
because that makes it as real as possible. Correct. I mean, I know one of the important things for you is the realism, um,
Yes.
in keeping that level of detail and realism. Correct.
Yes. Yeah. That's one of the things is like the paper is as light or as thin as I can get it. One of the other types of paper that I enjoy using is antique typewriter paper
Oh,
because it's
interesting.
really thin and almost even at times translucent.
Ah, that's a great tip. Is that sort of like vellum,
It is kind of vellum. It's
but it's
also,
thinner? It sounds thinner.
called onion skin.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's real finicky to use at times because it can rip real easily.
Uh-huh.
But it's real thin and it gives like a real lightness and airiness to petals and stuff. So
Yeah. And I
that's
see you using not many different colors, but several colors. And are you layering them? How does that work? What?
yeah. I'm layering them. I'm trying not to be too methodical or too
Uh-huh.
what's the word?
Too precise?
Yeah, I don't want any of the leaves to be the same
Right, right.
because in nature, none of the leaves are going to be the same.
Yeah.
Um,
What is that piece? What is that item up in the upper left-hand corner? What is that block? Is
that
that?
is an eraser.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have.
Pencil eraser? Pencil eraser, literally.
Yeah, it's just a little. You can buy them at the store. They come in like packages,
Yeah.
and I have different erasers for different colored. So like, let's see here. Like, I've
Huh.
got like my green one because the color pencil will rub off.
Uh-huh.
And I don't want, if I'm gonna do, my green leaves, I don't want the red of the pencil of the red to rub off on my green leaves.
So
So
wait, these are erasers for specific colors? This is new.
Mhm.
This is making my mind explode. It's
Yeah.
only pick up and erase specific colors.
Oh no. The eraser I start off with is white,
Oh,
and then I only use
oh,
that particular eraser for red leaves, and then
got
I'll only use a particular eraser for green leaves or yellow petals or
uh-huh. So
so
what are you doing right now?
right.
You're
I am using a ball stylus
okay.
to cup and shape the leaves
Oh,
to get
also you use the eraser for that.
yeah, it gives it a
Uh,
little bit of give.
Uh-huh.
Um
Also keeps the color on, because if you're using like those little foam pads, I bet some of the color comes off. Is that right?
yeah, I mean the colors does come off on the eraser as well. So that's why you're seeing the red on the eraser is it is coming off onto the eraser.
Wow. Wow. So, all right. So that's sort of the first part, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go to this sort of like the second part. And we're only seeing like snapshots of the entire process. These are just
Yeah.
small. So let's see. What are we looking at now?
This one I'm making daisies.
Uh,
Again, I'm just using a punch. Again, it's a punch that I had gotten, just a simple punch.
yeah.
Um, the let's see here. The off to the side there, you'll see there's some wires that are stuck in like a little piece of foam that I had already dipped in a little bit of glue and some of the yellow flocking to kind of create the center of the daisy.
And that little foam piece is just holding the stems while you're working on them, right? I mean,
Yep.
that's a tip in and of itself, because people are like, well, where do I put this now? Like, so
Yep.
put it in the little foam so it
Yep.
stays up and it dries and all that kind of stuff.
Yep. I use little pieces of foam. I'll even use like a clothespin.
Uh-huh.
I'll just like stick it in like a clothespin and like set the clothespin on its side and it'll set it up like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And what is the yellow? What is the yellow
it's
material? Is it
it's
material?
like Yeah, it's like a yellow, like a flocking material that I had gotten. I don't even remember where I gotten it from. I think it came with like a flower kit that I had gotten years ago, and they had sent so much of it that I've been using it since, I don't know, probably like 10 years now.
Yeah. I see that material a lot in the model railroader world for landscaping.
Yep, exactly.
Interesting. All right. So and so you've cut the daisy, and now you're
just adding a little extra white to it. The paper has kind of a texture to it. So adding the extra white, I ripped that one, so I'm taking it off to the side. It happens.
Yeah.
Adding the little bit of white helps smooth it out a bit. And then
so it is about it is about texturizing it to some extent. I mean, with the leaves we saw in the previous video, I would imagine just adding colors and layers adds texture to it, even if it's hard to see. It's there.
Yep. Yeah, in the previous video, I even used like a dental tool to add like a crease down the middle to kind of create like more motion to it.
Yeah.
And I'm adding, more color to the leaves. I like to use the toothpick to help hold it still because it will,
Yeah, I was going to ask you what I want to talk about tools because that toothpick is probably, well, let me ask you, what are some of the most important tools that you have and you use?
My absolute favorite, toothpicks.
There you go.
Can't live without them. I have like my within reaching distance right in front of me is a box of toothpicks.
Yeah.
Toothpicks. My tweezers are like right here. I have like a row of them stuck within, inches reaching distance.
Yeah.
My ball styluses, which are, I just got an inexpensive pack of them. And then my erasers, like I said, I had gotten them. As you can see, there's another one there. That one's for my white items.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't, and my little tiny scissors. I love my little tiny scissors.
Yeah. So for somebody who wants to get into this, it does seem like, this is something achievable if they want to pursue it as a hobby. You don't need a lot of expensive tools, and there's a very accessible things you can just buy off the shelf or on Amazon.
Yep. Yeah. I am extremely, extremely frugal.
Yeah.
I am, and if there's an inexpensive way to do it, I will do it. And that's pretty much why I've taught myself to do everything I do, is because I don't want to spend the money to buy things. So if I figure out how to make it myself, then I will do it. So
I want to actually pick up my special treasure and show them, because I am just so happy that I have this. It is my favorite thing in the whole wide world. It really is. Hold on. I want to just bring me. Hold on. See if I can go closer. Just look at that. And I did notice that this is sort of, we're going to talk about how to find you, but on your Instagram, you have this special, and there's a story behind it. Like, this is not the first thing you tried. What's the story behind these?
Well, I had, my very first commission was sunflowers like those. And they were, it was from my first show. I was next to Christine Hannon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And she had sold a painting of sunflowers.
Do I have that painting? No, I don't know if but I've seen that painting.
Yes, it was a painting of sunflowers and pumpkins. And the client came over to me and was like, "Will you make me some sunflowers?" And I was like, "Sure." But I had never made sunflowers before. I was like, absolutely, I gladly make you some sunflowers. And I got home and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna make sunflowers, but I'm gonna do it. And
Out. I mean, I've seen all your work. I mean, is there one that you love making versus another? Like, where is your head at? And then I want to talk about, like, what's the bucket list? What is it next for you in terms of what you will make?
Well, now that I figured out how to make sunflowers, I do absolutely love them.
Yeah.
Because sunflowers are one of my favorite flowers.
Oh.
I do. The daisies are also one of my favorites because I absolutely love them. I live on Cape Cod, so hydrangea is also one of my favorites.
Yes.
The hydrangea and the daisies are big here. It's like that's what summer is.
Yeah.
One of my bucket lists is figuring out bearded iris. I do have a prototype going. I've made it a little bit too big, so I'm working on scaling it down.
That's part of the process. You know, it doesn't happen all at once.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, my grandmother was a big bearded iris fan, so that was like we're gonna get that one right for her. So
awesome. So what is next for you? I mean, you've done your first show.
Mm-hmm.
Will we see you again at more shows moving forward?
Yes, I actually just this morning found out that there's a space available in Chicago, so I will be in Chicago.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is probably one of the best shows in the world, if you will.
Yeah,
So,
I'm really excited. Again, I'll be going into it like I've gone into my other shows. I'm like, well, let's see what happens.
Yeah, but you're going to do great. You're going to do great. And you have this background, you've had your first show. I mean, I think it's good that you did a show before going to Chicago.
Oh,
but
yeah.
all I say is take your vitamins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. It'll be fun. At the very least, it'll just be fun. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, it does, despite doing great work, it does take some time to build an audience and a following of collectors. Because it just takes time. It just takes time just to get your name out, to get the word out. I know for folks who need to find you, you are on Instagram, and I will drop that information down in the below, so people can find you on Instagram. You do also have a website.
Yes.
And you do take commissions too. I did hear you say that, so that's good.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're going to be busy until April, until you get there.
Yes. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Will we see that bearded iris? Will that make the introduction, you think?
That's what I'm hoping. I think I can get it there. I'm not too far off.
I trust you can too. I mean, like I said, I think you do fantastic work. I'm so glad you're out there and that you've had this journey and now you're here showcasing your work, which is beautiful. And absolutely, next step, IGMA Artisan for sure. I don't know if that's on your radar.
Yes, it is.
Become a member, because I think you have to be at least a member for a year. So that I see only good things happening for you, and I'm so glad you're out there. And I can't wait till more people, if they don't know you already, until they meet you and know you and see your beautiful work.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And thank you for joining today. I really, really appreciate this. And so, like I said, we're going to plop the information down below. And thank you again for joining. This has been super awesome.
No, thank you. It's been super awesome for me. This is awesome.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Have a great rest of your day. All right. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.